ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track, and ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. Well, buried within what could have been a routine press briefing on budget modifications, Mayor Eric Adams dropped a political bombshell yesterday. He's appointing Department of Sanitation Commissioner Jessica Tisch to lead the NYPD as the new police commissioner. This is no small move. Tisch takes the reins of the NYPD at a precarious time near the tail end of Adams' scandal-scarred term and amidst a period of significant leadership turnover within the department. Critics and supporters alike will be watching to see if her track record in sanitation, where she tackled monumental challenges head-on, translates to success in managing the city's most scrutinized agency. But let's not overlook the other question this creates. Who's going to fill her shoes at sanitation? After all, the challenges Tisch faced in making New York City a cleaner, more efficient place to live didn't vanish with her promotion. If anything, they've multiplied. And here's my take. The perfect choice for this critical role, Commissioner of the Department of Sanitation, is James Otto, the current Commissioner of the Department of Buildings. Otto may seem like an unconventional pick, a Republican in a city that trends overwhelmingly Democratic. Sure, that might raise some eyebrows, but Otto's resume speaks for itself. He is a lifelong public servant who knows municipal government inside and out. As a former Staten Island Borough President and City Council member, he has a deep understanding of the unique challenges faced by outer borough residents, people who are too often overlooked by City Hall. And let's talk about his record. Since taking over at the Department of Buildings, Otto has made real progress in modernizing an agency long synonymous with inefficiency and dysfunction. He's brought transparency and accountability to a department notorious for red tape and slow approvals. Those same qualities, his no-nonsense approach, his willingness to take on entrenched interests, are exactly what the Department of Sanitation needs right now. New York City's sanitation challenges are huge, from managing ever-growing waste to making sure snow gets plowed in a city of 8.5 million people. This isn't a job for the faint of heart. It requires someone who understands both the big picture and the nitty-gritty details of government operation. Otto fits the bill perfectly. And perhaps just as importantly, he understands something that so many city commissioners don't: the deep frustrations of everyday middle-class New Yorkers. Whether it's a Staten Island resident waiting too long for a trash pickup or a small business in Queens struggling to comply with complicated city regulations, Otto knows these challenges firsthand. So while all eyes may be on Jessica Tisch and the NYPD, let's not lose sight of the importance of getting this next appointment right.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Morning decisions. A creamy mocha frappuccino drink? A sweet vanilla? Maybe a smooth caramel or that white chocolate mocha. Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Start your day with bottled Starbucks Frappuccino drinks. Pick up a bottle near you wherever you buy your groceries.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. Today, we're diving into the ongoing debate over Mayor Eric Adams' City of Yes for Housing Affordability proposal, a sweeping plan aiming to tackle New York City's housing crisis by reforming zoning rules to spur more residential development. The plan has the potential to create between 58,000 and 109,000 new housing units over the next 15 years. Sounds promising, right? But as with anything in New York City, the devil is in the details, and in this case, the parking. The biggest sticking point in negotiations with the city council: parking mandates. These rules require developers to build a certain number of parking spaces alongside new housing. On one side, you have developers arguing that parking mandates increase costs by as much as $50,000 to $100 per space. This, they say, makes housing less affordable and even discourages building altogether. On the other side, council members and residents from car-dependent neighborhoods like mine are concerned about the existing parking crunch, especially in areas without reliable transit. Hello. So what's the compromise? The latest version of the proposal divides the city into 3 parking zones. In transit-rich, densely populated areas, parking mandates would be eliminated entirely. In middle-density zones, the requirements would be scaled back significantly. And in low-density, car-dependent areas like neighborhoods with mostly 1 or 2 family homes, the mandates would barely change. Here's the takeaway. As far as parking goes, this is actually the part of the plan where the mayor's office has made real concessions. The impact on low-density areas will be minimal. So if you live in a neighborhood where street parking is already tight, don't expect things to get much worse. But let's not lose sight of the bigger picture. Parking mandates don't just affect where cars go. They determine how much housing gets built, where it's built, and at what cost. Studies from other cities that have scrapped parking minimums, places like Minneapolis and Cambridge, show that doing so can lead to more housing, particularly affordable housing, and at a lower cost. In New York, half the potential new housing units under this plan could be at risk if parking mandates stay in place. For example, the town center concept, where apartments could be built above stores, would only work in transit zones. Similarly, homeowners looking to turn their garages or attics into rental units might not bother if they're forced to add parking. So the City of Yes isn't perfect. I have not loved it, but I am liking some of the changes they're making to it.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Clorox Sentiva smells like grapefruit. Cleans like Clorox. And feels like
Okay, we could be here all day. Try Clorox Sentiva for a trusted clean with long-lasting freshness. Also available in lavender and coconut. Use as directed.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
We have a story that's equal parts impressive and unsettling. An 84-year-old man, John K. Miller, was arrested in Minnesota for a murder committed 50 years ago in Wisconsin. The victim, 25-year-old Mary Kay Schlaze, was tragically killed while hitchhiking to an art show. Her case had gone cold for decades until now. The break came from a surprising place, the Investigative Genetic Genealogy Center at Ramapo College in New Jersey, right in our area. For the first time, their researchers used forensic genealogy to crack the case. They analyzed data from hairs found at the crime scene, building a genetic profile and tracing it to Miller through relatives. On the surface, this is a triumph of technology and determination. A violent crime from 1974 finally has a suspect, and justice, even after all these years, seems possible. But before we applaud too loudly, let's take a closer look at what this means for the rest of us. Here's the catch. Genealogy research isn't just about you. It's about your entire family tree, even those that aren't born yet. If you've ever used a service like 23andMe or Ancestry.com, you've handed over your DNA not just to uncover your heritage, but to be stored and potentially accessed by others. In this case, it was for a noble purpose, solving a murder. But what happens when the lines blur? With companies like 23andMe reportedly facing financial trouble, the future of your DNA becomes even murkier. Who's managing it? Who's buying it? And who's using it to dig into your family's past? And it doesn't stop with solving horrific crimes. Imagine this technology being used to track down relatives for petty crimes or minor infractions, offenses that would have gone unnoticed without a distant cousin deciding to map their lineage. This case is a slippery slope, one that raises serious ethical and privacy concerns. Sure, catching murderers is great, but is it worth the risk of exposing everyone in your family tree, even those who've done little more than jaywalk? As amazing as this technology is, let's not forget what's at stake. Handing over your DNA may seem harmless, but it's a decision that could echo in many ways that you'd never anticipated. So the next time you're tempted by a genealogy kit, ask yourself this: are you ready to give strangers access to your most personal blueprint and to the secrets that it might unlock? Don't get me wrong. I think this is a triumph for the folks at Ramapo College. I think they've just proven that their genetic genealogy center is tops, probably one of the best in the country, maybe even the world. It's great that we caught a murderer. I just wonder what's next.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
It may be 2 years away, but the New York governor's race in 2026 is already shaping up to be one of the most fascinating political battles in the country. Most of the chatter has been about Michael Lawler, the rising Republican star, who's keeping everyone guessing about his intentions. But there's also another potential storyline that's just as intriguing, a potential Democratic primary challenge to Governor Kathy Hochul, led by Bronx Democratic Congressman Richie Torres. Hochul's position as governor hasn't been the smoothest. Her approval ratings are underwater, with only 36% of likely voters viewing her favorably. In a recent Siena College poll, this isn't exactly where you want to be heading into a re-election campaign. And while Hochul is touting her role in helping New York Democrats gain control of Congress during this year's elections, it's clear her vulnerabilities go beyond partisan lines. Enter Richie Torres. He hasn't committed to running, but he's leaving the door wide open. And why wouldn't he? He's a rising star in the Democrat, a progressive voice with the kind of center-left appeal that could broaden his coalition. In a recent interview, Torres pointed to what he called a leadership crisis in New York, framing himself as a possible alternative. He's already taken aim at Hochul's handling of key issues like the delay in congestion pricing, suggesting she lacks the decisiveness needed to lead. Now, a Torres versus Hochul primary would be fascinating. Torres represents a new generation of leadership, one that's unafraid to challenge the status quo. Hochul, meanwhile, has been leaning into her role as a stabilizing figure, one who can deliver results. If Torres decides to run, it will force Hochul to defend her record, and it will put issues like crime, affordability, and infrastructure front and center for Democratic voters. And let's not forget the Republican angle. Michael Lawler, who represents one of the state's most competitive districts, is also considering a run. Lawler has already launched a website attacking Hochul's record on congestion pricing and cost of living issues, and he's positioning himself as a reformer who can win over disaffected moderates. The Republicans see Hochul's weaknesses as their best shot at the governor's mansion in decades. But before Hochul even gets to a general election, she may have to survive a bruising primary. If Torres runs, it will expose not only her vulnerabilities, but also the divisions within the Democratic Party between the establishment and a younger, more activist-oriented base. And regardless of who wins, it'll be a battle that reshapes the political landscape in New York for years to come. So while 2026 feels far off, the pieces are already moving into place. And whether it's a battle within the Democratic Party, a showdown with Republicans, or both, this is a race New Yorkers and the rest of the country will want to watch.
Beam me up!
To be continued.